President Joko Widodo called on regional heads not to rush in taking a decision to impose a lockdown. Planet Properindo Jaya has finally conducted initial public offering. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of information from the business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. Presiden Joko Widodo called on his subordinates and regional heads not to rush in taking decision to impose a lockdown in their territories.
Joko remarked some essential notes while chairing a limited cabinet meeting at the Merdeka Palace on Monday, an effort to facilitate economic recovery during COVID-19 pandemic. The head of state also reminded to apply local-based intervention strategy and local-scale limitation strategies. Also, decisions taken in response to additional cases in provinces, districts, or cities should be based on distributions data.
Strategi intervensi berbasis lokal, strategi intervensi untuk pembatasan berskala lokal ini penting sekali untuk dilakukan. Baik itu manajemen intervensi yang dalam skala lokal maupun dalam skala komunitas. Sehingga sekali lagi jangan buru-buru menutup sebuah wilayah, menutup sebuah kota, menutup sebuah kabupaten.
President Jokowi cited as an example that a province could have 20 districts and cities, but not all of them are categorized as the red zones. Hence, the handling mechanism should not be generalized. Some are green zones while others are yellow zones. Thereby, it needs different treatment and handling mechanism. From Jakarta, Claranta Wijaya for IDX Channel.
On the other hand, coordinating Minister of Economic Affairs expected that all regional heads to firstly discuss any decision with central government. Moreover, if it is about COVID-19 handling in the regions.
After conducting a virtual meeting in the Royal Palace, Coordinating Minister of Economic Affairs Erlangga Hartarto delivered some essential notes of the meeting result. One of which, central government expected regional heads to do discussion and brainstorming related COVID-19 handling decision without passing through central government. This must be done to mark up public trust. And the key is communication. Erlangga emphasized the notions of regional heads should communicate with the steps that they want to take. This to ensure that the decisions taken are well prepared.
Bahwa kita perlu melakukan koordinasi untuk pengambilan keputusan, apalagi kalau ini menyangkut berbagai hal dan terutamanya untuk kesehatan masyarakat. Nah, tentu data-data perlu disinkronkan dan kedua tentu yang disampaikan ke publik harus dalam bentuk hal yang sudah diputuskan.
The way to communicate to public is also important, he said. It is better if regional heads conduct consultations with the central government to ensure that the decisions taken is supported with strong data and validation. Jakarta, Raja Pamo for IDX Channel.
Pertamina keeps gasoline and gas distribution at the forefront despite large-scale social restriction policy is back on action.
State-owned oil and gas company Pertamina stated that gasoline distributions remains normal, even large-scale social restrictions is back again in Jakarta. In the other hand, gas distributions, whether it is 3 kilograms LPG subsidized or non-subsidized, remain normal as well. Pertamina's Unit Manager Communications and CSR, Eko Kristiawan, stated that in fulfilling customers' demand, company keeps gas stations within 24 hours operational hour.
Bahkan sebagian besar SPBU tetap beroperasi 24 jam untuk memenuhi kebutuhan konsumen. Sebagai perusahaan energi, Pertamina termasuk dalam 11 sektor bisnis yang tetap beroperasi saat PSBB. Kami memastikan distribusi tetap berjalan normal dan stok BBM, LPG, dan produk lainnya juga dalam kondisi aman.
Eko also ensures that Pertamina has implemented a health protocol in every gas station. It is hoped that consumers who come to the gas stations use masks and keep their distance and wash their hands in the facilities provided according to the applicable health protocol. From Jakarta, Rikan Wardi for IDX Channel.
The Central Statistic Agency, or BPS, noted that Indonesia's trade balance in August 2020 experienced a surplus of $2.33 billion. Even so, the value of exports and imports still recorded a contraction from the previous month due to the uncertain economic situation.
Indonesia's trade balance in August recorded a surplus of $2.33 billion. This figure is seen after exports were recorded at $13.07 billion and imports at $7.74 billion. This surplus figure is higher than the position of the trade balance in August 2019, which was a surplus, at that time $92.6 million. But this large surplus is not comparable to the contraction that occurred. Export in August recorded a contraction of 8.36% on annual basis, while imports recorded a contraction of 24.19% on annual basis. The large contraction figure shows that Indonesia's trade volume is shrinking, consequently the impact of the pandemic that has not subsidized.
Maka pada bulan Agustus tahun 2020 ini kita masih mengalami surplus sebesar 2,33 miliar. Surplus ini masih jauh lebih besar dibandingkan posisi neraca perdagangan Agustus tahun 2019.
Suharyanto added that in August 2020, Indonesia's trade balance experienced a surplus with several countries. One of them is with the United States, experiencing a surplus of $1 billion, while in the same time posted a deficit with China of $893.6 million. From Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
Market Headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Bagaimana outlook UMKM di 2020 ini, Pak Leona?
Saya ingin mengajak terutama anak-anak muda bagaimana caranya supaya nantinya ini bisa berkooperasi dengan baik. Dan ini sudah dimulai.
Nama saya Devisa Novel, jabatan saat ini di IDX Channel adalah sebagai produser dan sekaligus presenter program yang dibawakan saat ini dengan nama IDX Second Season Closing, terkait juga dengan kondisi capital market Indonesia dan perkembangannya dari waktu ke waktu. Dan saya sangat senang untuk belajar dan berkecimpung di berita ekonomi, khususnya di capital market.
Market hari ini sudah dibuka dan menghijau begitu, ada di zona positif. Akankah ini terus berlanjut?
Saya masih mencermati untuk saham-saham ini ya, tambangan, saham alam putra nih ya, asli kan kemarin belum naik, ini potensi naik.
Welcome back. The government claims that the economic recovery policy in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic is on the right track. The government even ensures to continue implementing the national economic recovery policy to maintain the momentum for improvement of various indicators.
In order to recover the national economy, the government stated that it will continue to carry out various policies to maintain the momentum for improvement in various economic indicators. One of them is the government's efforts to increase people's purchasing power amid the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in facing the economic growth in the third quarter of 2020. Regarding economic recovery, President Joko Widodo explained that the government still has time for positive economic growth and Indonesia can avoid recession. He even asked that programs prepared for economy recovery must be implemented as soon as possible. The program is believed to be able to prevent economic growth in the third quarter from contracting again. One of the programs requested to be accelerated is the Cash Transfer Incentive Program. Previously, in the second quarter of 2020, Indonesia's economic growth contracted to minus 5.32%. If there has been no change in the third quarter and the economy is still minus, it is believed that the Indonesian economy will experience a recession. From all sources for IDX Channel.
Yeah, in the midst of economic pressure due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a number of countries reported negative economic growth, including Indonesia, which recorded economic growth of minus 5.32% in the second quarter of 2020. However, does the economic slowdown continue, or there are signs of recovery? To be clearer, let's take a look at the first graphic today. The first one is about Indonesia's foreign exchange reserve. As you can see, one of the most interesting fact is what happened in August 2020. The Indonesia's foreign exchange reserve reached 137 billion US dollar, and it was broke the all-time high. And this one is taken from the Bank of Indonesia's and IDX Channel research. And compared to the another data, August, as I told you before, it reached the break all-time high. And Indonesia's foreign exchange reserve set another record, surpassing the previous record in July 2020. Indonesia's foreign exchange reserve in August are equivalent to 9.4 months of imports, or 9 months of imports and government external debt payment. This figure is above the international advocacy standard, or around 3 months of imports. Meantime, Bank of Indonesia revealed that the increase in foreign exchange reserve was influenced by the withdrawal of government foreign debt, tax revenues, and oil and gas foreign exchange. As one of the economic indicators, Bank of Indonesia assesses that the foreign exchange reserve are capable of supporting external sector's resilience and maintaining macroeconomic and financial system stability. So what other economic indicators are starting to show recovery? Let's check to the next graphic. This one is about Indonesia's retail sales index from January 2020 to July 2020. As you can see, the data is quite fluctuative. By January, the Indonesia's retail sales index reached minus 0.3, and then on February, minus 0.8. In March 2020, it was on minus 4.5. In April, minus 16.9. And another number or another data, as you can see from the screen, and by July 2020, the Indonesia's retail sales index was on the level of minus 12.3. Even though it's still in the contraction phase, the retail sales index in July 2020, which grew negatively at 12.3%, is still better than the previous month, which contracted by minus 17.1%. This improvement is said to occur in almost all retail sales of commodities. Regarding the data, economist of Bank Permata, Joshua Pardede, sees that the increasing trend in retail sales shows a gradual economic recovery after experiencing a significant slowdown in April and May. And furthermore, the growth of the retail sales index in August 2020 is projected to get better at minus 10.1%, which would be driven by increased public purchasing power, discounted prices from retailers, and smooth distribution of goods. And as the retail sales index increases, what are the expectations of consumers regarding economic conditions? Let's move to the next graphic. The third graphic is about Indonesia's Consumer Confidence Index from January to August 2020. As you can see, from June, July, and August, it showed improvement in the last 3 months. But before that, it was not the best data, as you can see. And this one is compiled from Bank of Indonesia and IDX Channel's research. The Consumer Confidence Index in August 2020 only slightly increased compared to the previous month. Even so, it shows consumer expectations of improving economic conditions. Regarding the data, the economists assessed that the increase was driven by the realization of the National Economic Recovery Budget, especially for social protection, specifically for people with expenditure level of 2.4 million rupiah per month. But economists say that this condition is in contrast to the condition of the upper middle class, where the Consumer Confidence Index for the class with an income of 5 million rupiah and above has actually decreased. And yes, this is what the government still needs to improve. And from the number of signs of economic recovery, it turns out that there is still one threat that cannot be underestimated, is the threat of deflation. To be clear, let's check it through the next graphic. This is the Indonesia's Consumer Index and month-to-month CPI, the darker one, and the lighter one is year-on-year CPI. And the lowest inflation in the last 20 years was recorded in August, 1.32%. But meantime, deflation in 2 consecutive months, as you can see on July and August, by minus 0.1 and minus 0.05. The Consumer Price Index is closely related to people's purchasing power. If people's purchasing power does not increase, deflation is inevitable. And this is even already confirmed by the data in the last 2 months. The deflation cannot even be separated from recession. When the economy goes into a severe recession, the economy slows down, demand for consumption and investment plummeted. So the deflation or falling prices are not a good indication for a country, but a sign of an economic crisis. Meantime, for information, some of the negative impacts of deflation include the lack of absorption of company production by the people, which makes the company reduce production capacity and in the end to lead wave of layoffs. The sluggish economy also has an impact on investment performance, which continues to depreciate. One of them can be seen in the capital market. In addition, the deflation also has the potential to increase non-performing credit or loan, and it triggers the financial sector to experience major losses and loss of liquidity. It's definitely a condition that all of us do not expect to happen. So with those data, we hope to all parties, especially the government, can take steps or strategies that are more effective in recovering the economy. Stay with us because Market Headlines will be right back after the break.
Saat ini lebih mudah untuk mendapatkan informasi mengenai perkembangan ekonomi dan bisnis di Indonesia dengan aplikasi IDX Channel. Mulai dari berita, makro dan mikroekonomi, politik hingga hiburan. Anda juga dapat berbagi artikel, foto, dan video ke semua platform media sosial yang Anda miliki. Beragam informasi hari ini bisa di-download di dalam aplikasi idxchannel.com. IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business, and Capital Market Channel.
Hello, I'm Clara Antawijaya. I'm Associate Producer and News Presenter on Market Headlines. As Market Headlines starts at 4:30 p.m., which is in line with the closing market, therefore we summarize the market conditions only for you. And my job in here as a journalist, I give concise and accurate news for the audience. And also, being a journalist is not only a job for me, but it is also a passion.
Seiring dengan penutupan dari Bursa Wall Street, di mana S&P kembali mencatatkan rekor tertinggi sepanjang sejarah, buat IHSG juga pada pagi hari ini dibuka di teritori positif, pemirsa.
semester 2 pasar masih melihat adanya proses recovery yang terus berjalan.
Sementara di Asia kita lihat berakhir positif juga pada perdagangan Jumat kemarin setelah rilis data ekonomi di wilayah Eropa dan Amerika yang mengalami penguatan.
Kita terpaksa kembali menerapkan pembatasan sosial berskala besar.
Kondisi dari pandemi COVID-19 sampai sejauh ini
Yang paling akan langsung terkena dampaknya adalah orang-orang yang bekerja di sektor informal.
And we're on the last segment of Market Headline. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 5,169.24 and approaching the closing time of a session. The index was on the level of 5,096.68. Then the index was showing a weakening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 5,100.87. In short, JCI went down 1.18%. And next, we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got construction as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 2.53%. Miss Industry went up 0.83%. And the leader of the weakening trend, we got finance, went down 2.13%, and infrastructure went down 1.67%. Moving on to the top losers and top gainers for today's trading, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. UNTR went up 3.8% at 23,875. BRMS went up 21.82% at 67. J-Sky went up 1.89% at 216. And ERA went up 1.54% at 1,645. Meantime, the top loser for today's trading, we got BBCA went down 3.14% at 29,300. BBRI went down 3.2% at 3,330. MDKA went down 2.99% at 1,620. Telkom went down 2.08% at 2,830. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar opened at the level of 14,974. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar. It was closed at the level of 14,872. In summary, rupiah went up 0.05. Another newcomer in Indonesia Stock Exchange, Planet Properindo Jaya, has finally conducted initial public offering by today, September 15, 2020. Company officially coded as PLAN and in the stock exchange. The issuer with the stock code of PLAN is holding an initial public offering by releasing a total 267.86 million shares. The amount of these shares is equivalent to 30% of the paid up and issued capital at a price of 112 rupiah per share. However, in its first trading day, Planet Properindo Jaya's share price went up 9.82% to the price of 123 rupiah per share.
Langkah perusahaan masuk Bursa Efek Indonesia melalui IPO adalah bagian dari strategi untuk meningkatkan kapasitas pendanaan perusahaan, tata kelola, dan pengembangan bisnis untuk lebih baik lagi ke depannya. Kinerja perusahaan sampai tahun 2019 masih mencatat pertumbuhan pendapatan yang positif, maka kami sangat optimis dengan
2 times in a row, Indonesia Stock Exchange has won the Best Islamic Capital Market, which was conferred by Global Islamic Finance Award 2020.
The award was received virtually by the President Director of IDX Inano Jayadi as the online award ceremony of the 10th Global Islamic Finance Awards, which was broadcasted live from Islamabad, Pakistan.
And 20. It is a privilege for us to receive this award for the second time amidst the COVID-19 pandemic that hit the Islamic capital market globally. This award will be a recognition of Indonesia Stock Exchange efforts and accomplishment, as well as an encouragement for us to strive further in developing innovative Sharia-compliant product and services. Once again, thank you for the award and stay safe.
Previously, IDX has received an award as the Best Islamic Capital Market once in 2019, which is the highest award category in the global Islamic capital market industry. In addition, the IDX has also received an award as the Best Supporting Institutions for Islamic Finance of the year 2016, 2017, and 2018. Also, an award as the Best Emerging Islamic Capital Market of the year of 2018. From Jakarta, Clara Antawijaya for IDX Channel.
Listed company Buana Lintas Selatan will add more capital expenditure through private placement, whereas company targets around 425 billion rupiah from upcoming private placement.
Listed company Buana Lintas Selatan with stock code of BULL is about to conduct private placement. This may bring good catalyst for profit increase because historically speaking, every time company conducts private placement, it brings significant effect to net profit. Kevin Wong, as President Director of Buana Lintas Selatan through a private placement in 2020, his company is targeting fresh funds of 425 billion rupiah. The shares to be issued is 10% of the total issued and fully paid shares. Because of that, roughly the target price for BULL private placement is around 358 rupiah per share. Still, before conducting private placement, management will ask shareholders' agreement at the first place. The voting will be done by upcoming October 15 in general meeting of shareholders. From all sources for IDX Channel.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation. And here it is some update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening.
Stock Exchange plans to launch a new stock index no later than August 2020. The index, named IDX Quality 30, will be containing 30 listed companies with a high level of value investing.
Saat ini lebih mudah untuk mendapatkan informasi mengenai perkembangan ekonomi dan bisnis di Indonesia dengan aplikasi IDX Channel. Mulai dari berita, makro dan mikroekonomi, politik hingga hiburan. Anda juga dapat berbagi artikel, foto, dan video